Oh my, good morning, Predicted Trades family. Hope everybody's doing good today. I'm gonna give it like a couple of seconds to, or a minute or so for folks to pile in here. We'll go ahead and get started here. Folks can catch the replay. Anyhow, on our economic forecast, we do have some data coming out today. ADP employment, jobless claims, continuing jobless claims, yada yada yada. We've got a few things coming out today at 8:30, a couple of things at 10. Tomorrow we have NFP, non-farm payroll, unemployment, hourly earnings, yada yada, PMI as well. So, 2 days left to the week. We've got a little bit of economic data coming out. Let's see. Next, for folks that might be newer to our family, we've had a few folks join this week. Just want to point out in our server, we do have a stock news channel. So like when I get up every day and I'm getting ready, I will browse through the news that has landed overnight so that I can get caught up. I suggest everybody utilize that resource. We've got a stock news channel that should keep you up to speed. And like when that news hit yesterday about Facebook COO stepping down, landed right in here. So like when you see a big crazy candle, jump over here and see what's going on. Also, we have an earnings channel. Where we drop in what earnings whispers tweets. We had Chewy and GameStop and HP and a couple others yesterday after the bell. Today, Hormel Chili. That's a big one. But after the bell, we do have Lululemon, Rustic Hardware, yada yada, Asana, Restoration or whatever. Stuff I don't trade. So definitely drop into the server, poke around. You will find there are some nice resources all around. But let's go ahead and dig into the day. If we zoom out, if we zoom out a little bit, hey, there we go. We had that epic run at the end of last week that we have slowly been fading and profit taking in the market back to the daily 21. This white stair-step line is the daily 21, the orange is the daily 15, the blue is the daily 8. We are now getting to a point where the 8 has crossed over the 15 and caught up to the 21. And if we have a nice up day, the 8 will pop over the 21, creating a crossover, while the 15 plays catch up. Yesterday we had a nice fade from hitting our squeeze cloud tops. These clouds represent the top of squeezes on different time frames. So right at open we smacked the 30-minute 1 hour squeezes and rejected. When we do that, we can go to the other side of the squeeze, the bottom. Then we had a fun little slow fade slow grind through the squeeze bottom, reaching outside just to tag the daily 21 where we caught a bounce. Overnight, we've held the squeeze bottom again and worked our way back to the top. We're opening near the tops again this morning, and as you can see, they're a lot thinner, making them easier to get through than when they're nice and thick like this. We are still kind of slowing down at this trend line from the highs overnight and overnight on Monday and Tuesday. Sheesh. So let's see if that trend line continues to be a point of rejection and sends us through our uptrend from yesterday's lows. If we do give up that wedge and that 4101 again, we will most likely go quickly down to the bottom of these squeezes, which now line up with the daily 21 and the daily 8. So, we got above the 21 and then we reverted back to it. We might do another tap again today, kind of setting in a double bottom before heading higher. Or, we are already starting to push through this resistance line. Ultimately, if we can get through the squeeze top, get above 4136 and a half, and use it as support, so get above it, pull back to it, and push off of it, we can trek higher and finally take out this 4165, which has been rejection city. Once we get through that, it could be some smooth sailing right on up to 4200. We do have a 2-hour squeeze top that we'd be getting through at that 4165, but now it's finally nice and thin, making it easier to get through. And let's see, it looks like a 4-hour up there that is no longer intact. No, it is, okay. It's just a little spotty. So we have a little bit of a 4-hour up there and a daily squeeze top up at 4240 with the daily 50 MA at 4250. So ultimately, if we can get above 4140, get through 4165, we can truck up to 4200 with a mission to get to 4250. If we give out these squeeze bottoms and the daily 21 and can't find a base at 4080, we will likely go back to retest these two trend lines and 4056. 4056, 4101, and 4136, very key levels right now. I can see where we would tap all of them and some back and forth before heading higher or lower. So use these levels as key right now, since that's the range we are set in. 4136, this shaded zone, kept us up in January. We bounced at it a few times before setting a new low of year of 4101. Once 4101 broke in February, I believe. 4056 was the new low of year that bounced us. So these are all key and were support until we ultimately headed lower and created new zones below, right? But ultimately we are in a wide daily squeeze, the bottom of which is back at the lows. And if we start to lose the 21, which is in the middle of that squeeze, we can go to test these trend lines that allowed us to bounce last week. I drew kind of an extreme trend line and then a little flatter of a trend line. Just to give an idea, if we do give out the 21, we're going to test the extreme and then a more gradual one back at these key levels. Always funny how it overlaps each other and lines up. So there's your upside and downside thesis today on ES. And as always, don't forget to get your beast tool for the day. as it can provide a great roadmap. If we just look at what it gave us yesterday, we ran up and tapped that purple hash line, which is kind of the midpoint between our first shaded zone and our outer shaded zone. So we reject that in the middle of the squeeze top, fall down to that burger top, another retest of this purple for a rejection, before heading to the further out shaded region, where we catch a bounce at the bottom at the 21 and head back up, ultimately topping out at our burger bottom and then fading back. So looking at what it's providing today, we open down near this 4100, starting to push up to the purple hash line. I would, ideally, it would be nice to come back like we are to open around the same spot in this zone that we're getting around 4101 and 4097. Would love to see it bounce there and then start the journey back up to test that 4165, which is now aligning with the top of our shaded region. So, got a good roadmap today to use. Make sure you pick up your beast tool. Let's move on to NQ. NQ currently trying to lead to the upside. It's up the most percentage-wise. And NQ trapped between our key levels, as you can see. Levels are key, and our key levels can't be beat. Yesterday we rejected that 12,790, fell back to that 460 for a bounce. Ultimately want the daily 21 and that 460 to hold at the bottom of the squeeze to send us back higher through this 12,790 to get up to our next key level at 12,960 and that big psychological 13,000. Let's see, we closed the day kind of around 540. We can get up here today if we wanted to. So let's see if they intend to keep buying certain things like Amazon. 2 days left in that split. So let's see if she wants to lead NQ higher. Ultimately, if the daily 21 and that 460 give out, we are likely going to test this daily 15 down below. We might even make it to this 12,100, which is a very key level. Now that we are above it, if we start to give out, it is where we are going back to for a retest. Need to stay above 12,100. Or else we risk going back too low of year again. So let's see what we get with these key levels. These squeezes are now aligning perfectly top and bottom with key levels and our moving averages. So big area of support. We already know there's resistance here. Let's see if this support holds and can push us through the resistance. If it doesn't, back to previous support. The ready. The Ready already gave us, or the same thing as yesterday with everything. Ready tapped the daily 21. No retest overnight. 1900 is very big for the Ready. Needs to get over 1900. So basically same premise. See if the daily 21 and 8 squeeze bottoms can hold us up to push through 1900. YM. YM was so close. It could have tested that 50 yesterday, but the first Keltner up and the squeeze tops said no and sent us back. YM did not quite tap the daily 21. So let's see if she wants to go back for a full tap and setting a higher low than yesterday. Should that not hold, we're going back to key levels in the daily 15. But if we can hold at the mean and the squeeze bottom and our trend line from the lows, which are kind of all overlapping, so we got a big area of support here, we can trek up through this psychological 33,000 in a bid to get back to that first Keltner that we rejected yesterday, with mission daily 50 as the goal. So on every indice, we are getting close to the daily 50. That is the goal, to get back to that up above. We have not tested the 50 for quite some time. Apple. These squeezes are getting tight, tight, tight. To get through them when, excuse me, to get through them when they're this tight, we typically have to run into them, keep pushing against them, let time pass where we don't dive back to the other side, and they will start to open up. As you can see here, we arrive at them when they're thick, we stay up there, they open up, then we fire through when they're not there. So on Apple, don't be surprised if Apple just chills and bounces around these squeezes. Ultimately looking for this 147.5 to hold at the squeeze bottom, just like it's held every day this week now that we've arrived up here. If that gives out, we could vacuum very quickly down to this 144, which once we got through, we have not been back to retest. If we can hold that 147.5 and get through 150, 152, we could start trekking up to mission 155. The daily 50 and 21 are way up above at 160, but I like that because the 200 and the 50, very key moving averages, them collecting together at a key level like 160 creates a very nice magnet. We do have POC at 187.67. Wow. 148.87. Totally botched that up. That puts it, right about here. Kind of where we were resisting overnight. Now we gapped through it. So let's see if we just go back to kind of fill that gap, hit POC, and then take off running. Or if we slip through for a second to tag a key level, squeeze bottom, and then rip through POC back up. Or if we lose 147 and grind down into these squeezes to get to the daily 8 and this 144. But also be prepared just for, sideways chop when it's this thick, and, maybe they don't want to rotate into Apple right now because they're more interested in stuff like Amazon. AMD got up to this daily squeeze top, going sideways while all of these squeezes stack around it. Staying up there will open this daily squeeze more and more, but we do have a 2-day sitting right up above. AMD already made it above its daily 50. They already rotated hard into it the previous week, and then again. So it might be that AMD and chips take a little break and get back to the 21 here soon. Amazon, just accumulation. And yesterday was, kind of maybe the first sideways day. So let's see if they actually keep it in this range today, or if they just take right off and keep trucking through yesterday's high. There's only 2 days left in this split. I have to think yesterday was just a little profit taking, reloading for the next leg on this journey, right? We still have plenty of gas to get up to 2700, where the third Keltner is, and where the daily 50 is slowly working its way down to. This gap fill starts at 2600, it goes to 2800 and some change, with 27 kind of right in the middle. The daily Keltner, the third Keltner up, and the daily 50, creating a nice zone right in the middle. So, should they continue to keep accumulating, somewhat expecting the ship to park itself up here before the split. Oh, I see a question on YouTube about where do you pick up the Beast tool? You pick it up in our server. Just join our website and you can join our server for free. You'll land in the free section of our server, where every Thursday we all migrate into the free section so that everybody can get a taste of what it's like at Predicted Trades. So please feel free to come check us out, join the server for free, try it out today. Every Thursday in our server, we will be dropping the Beast tool for free. So definitely come check it out. So keep an eye on Amazon. Keep on trucking. That is what I'm expecting going into a split, which Amazon has been saying for so long they won't split. Now we have arrived. This party should keep going. If it comes back, I expect it to come back to this 23.16, the daily 21 quickly, and then keep going again. But we'll see what we get. 2 days left. Cat, I've talked about in a couple of weeks past. Whenever Cat gets down near 200, especially with big old daily and 2-day squeeze bottoms, go long. She loves to get to 200 and then start the journey over again, back to 220 and 240. Almost tapped 220 yesterday, relative strength-wise. With the drop in the market, she worked back up for a new high. So, relative strength-wise, Cat, still getting some love. Let's see today if it can break through squeeze tops, get up to this daily squeeze top, which is slowly starting to open and can fire to the upside. But Cat, ultimately very strong, back over its daily 50. Well, let's see if they want to take it back just a little to tag the daily 21 or daily 8 in these squeeze bottoms. Or if the daily 50 is enough, that 215, to hold there and just send us higher. Facebook. Relative strength, not the strongest. Got up to the 21 and kind of struggled to even live above it. Yesterday, used it to take off, squeeze top, sent it back. Then I got that news late in the day that the COO was stepping down. Ultimately, ran way down to tag key levels, right? I'll say it again, levels are key, and our key levels are some of the best in the game. So we watched Facebook drop straight to our levels and then wick all the way back up to the squeeze bottom. Now she's trying to, have a little bit of a gap up. Let's see if we want to retest this overnight low, the squeeze bottom, before heading back up. Overall, the COO stepping down is going to have an impact. it might not even be a negative thing. A lot of times, it's just a reason for them to sell and take profit. For all we know, investors may love the fact that that COO stepped down. I don't know, I'm not an investor, and I'm not that closely tied to Facebook. So keep an eye on it. Squeeze bottoms. As long as Facebook does not go lower, it won't drag part of the market with it, right? So want to see Facebook hold up above this 185.9, this 186 key level, squeeze bottoms, and just not dive, back down. Man, they just cannot catch a good news break anywhere. This is that Snap earnings miss. I'm not going to be touching Facebook, but there's more fun stuff like Google. I mean, look at their relative strength. They're both an XLC. Barely made it back to the 21 and struggling. Google made it above, pushing off of it, holding it, straight 45, 60 degree arc right up there. Anyway, Google, we've got squeeze tops and bottoms at that 23.20 at the top, 22.60 at the bottom. Let's see. Google's got a pretty nice little gap up here. Let's see if it can hold the daily 21 if it goes back for a test at 22.75. I'd let it go as low as 22.60 to tag these squeeze bottoms for a bounce. But if it doesn't bounce there, it's going back to this daily 8 and daily 15. And this tiny sliver of a 2-hour that's starting to form at the bottom at. Ultimately, if we can hold the daily 21, 22.80, push through 2300, where we do have a little resistance line that has, held us back and given us that slingshot back. If we can get above that, get above 2320, hold it on a retest, we can take on off to the 2360, 2380, where we have kind of our next resistance. These are trend lines from higher time frame wicks, high wicks from earlier in the year. If we can get through all that, mission is this daily squeeze top, 2400 psychological level, and the daily 50 sits up at 2470, which is past the second Keltner. So kind of expecting Google, if it can get up to 2400 and the daily squeeze top, to then take a break and let the 50 come down a little bit before getting there. But we'll see. Google was kind of the tech leader last year. Let's see if she can return to her glory. GS. Banks were very strong. I talked about yesterday. We keep hitting this squeeze top. We keep pushing against it, which will open it up. Don't be surprised for a quick reset to the mean, which is the middle of the squeeze, before heading higher. We got that yesterday, straight down to the mean, a bounce and a close above the daily 50. She's gapping. So let's see if market wants to do a little bit of a gap fill. We're about to get our economic data release at 8:30, which might fill the gap for us. But let's see if GS wants to fill the gap, maybe tap that daily 50 one more time before heading higher still. Right back up to these highs at 3:30 and pushing further into the squeeze top. If it gives out the daily 50, it will probably go quickly down to the daily 21 again. Use your moving averages there. All of liquidity is stacked in a pocket here from 312 to 320. It could just settle back and chill there as they rotate into other things. JPM, pretty much the same, except it doesn't have such large daily squeezes to get through. It does have a 2-day up above at 136, kind of where that third Keltner is. So let's see if it can hold yesterday's low, this daily 50 and 8, stacked right at around 128. If she can hold 128, she can keep on trucking in a mission to get up to 135, 136. If we give out that 128, probably going to vacuum very quickly right down to the daily mean, this previous POC at 125, to reset the board before going higher or lower. In this shot and in this daily squeeze, you can see the daily Keltners, the mean. So you get kind of a full view of everything we're looking at. Microsoft. Relative strength, pretty good over the daily 21. The daily 50 is very close and within reach. Looks like it might be about a 2-day journey to get there maybe. But just like Apple, big, tight squeezes. So they could just be letting Apple and Microsoft chill in a zone while they rotate into other things like Amazon, like Google, leading into this split for Amazon. And then, after the split for Amazon next week, they could rotate out of Amazon and back into things like Apple and Microsoft. So let's see how this squeeze top and bottom goes for us. Would not be shocked to see us slip down to 270, tag this daily 21 at 268 before heading higher. As we just saw, a lot of names tagged the 21. Microsoft did not. So let's see if they want to fully take it there, or if these lows around 270 are enough to send us higher and get through 275, 276. In a mission to get back to 280, 282. Netflix. I mean, it's moving higher, but below the daily 21. So relative strength, not the best. And now these squeezes span the daily 8 and the daily 21. Netflix went down on earnings recently, and usually my rule is to leave it alone for 4 or 5 weeks because it kind of does nothing and it just chills. Ultimately, if it can hold the daily 8 and this 190, it's on a mission to get above 200 and push higher. Daily 50 is probably way above because Netflix been getting beat up. Yep. So relative strength, this thing is not as appealing as some of the other names we're looking at. If you want to play it, use your squeeze tops, use your moving averages. She can just bounce around this 8-point range. Nvidia. This one's looking more like Apple and Microsoft, right? Above the daily mean, just chilling in this range. Kind of expanding these squeeze clouds a little bit more. If Nvidia can continue to hold this 180, 181, where the daily mean is at, it did give it a tap yesterday, it might give it another tap today before heading higher, getting through 190, 192, which has been holding us back in a bid to get to mission 200 and 210, where the daily 50 is sitting. But overall, looks like they are taking a break of rotating into Nvidia while they rotate into other things. Could be that Thursday or Friday this week, they start to wake up to the upside. Maybe even wait till Monday of next week where we see them pop. But chips are just having a break, and they could get another rotation once everyone's done with Amazon. QQQ. Looking very similar to Nvidia. Up above the 21. Bouncing. Let's see if they want to give a third little test for a bounce to activate those buyers and send us hires. So we want to see us hold 304 like we've done all week and head higher. Get through 311, which has been holding us back, in a mission to get back to 318. Daily 50 is still pretty high up there, so not really in play just yet. But let's see If we start to break 304, 302, it could be a quick trip back to these daily moving averages and 300 psychological level. But come on, Qs, let's hold up. Roku. Not a real interest for me on this one either. Streamers are just not getting a ton of love. They are, like this move higher was just the market moving higher. Roku's already back below all of its daily moving averages. If it continues to stay below them and can't get back over 93, she could be coming back to 185, or I'm sorry, to 85 very quickly. If she can hold these daily moving averages, get through 193, it is a mission 100 and getting back above it, or else Roku's going to continue the path of a penny stock. Shop. Kind of the same. Kind of weak. Just fought to the 21 and rejected. Now it's pinned between the daily 8, daily 15 below, the daily 21 above, where magically our squeeze top and bottom have now aligned to. So, likely going to be stuck in this range, but at least it's nice and wide. Roku still... I'm sorry, Shop. Shops as a 40-point ATR, so can technically swing all around this bad boy. So let's see if 360 can hold. Could set up a nice long to get up to 380 and 390 where the squeeze top is and the daily 21. So as long as market is strong and heading up and Amazon getting rotated into, Shop could play a nice game of catch up. It was a great short yesterday. So it could turn into a great long today to engulf. Snow, no interest. SPX. Got this gap. Oh, from last Thursday to Friday. We tested that yesterday. We're still dealing with a little bit of a gap up. It looks like by now our economic data has come out, so we'll go back to ES in a little. But let's see if this gap can hold today. Now the daily 8 and daily 21 span that gap. So if we do slip on SPX, looking for that to continue to hold, we could rip right through it to fill it and then head higher for sure. And up above, watch the first Keltner up, which is holding us back at around 4170. And the daily 21 is up with the next Keltner at 4260. So, good push. Holding, holding, holding. Let's see if these moving averages can propel us up to the daily 50. SPY. Oh, come on. Oh, let's see. SPY slipped through our levels around 410 just to get to the 21, then fought back above. Gave another cloud bounce overnight. Back above this 410. So, as we fade slightly into open off the squeeze top, we'd like to see that 410 hold in the middle of that squeeze. If it doesn't, we're going back to yesterday's lows and the 21 for another tap. So be prepared, not to sound repetitive. Be prepared for a repeat of yesterday. Smacking squeeze tops, going to bottoms, slapping the 21. We could do the same today on a shorter journey because this 21 is stepping up. It will be near these squeeze bottoms. This is a 3-point drop versus this, 8-point drop that we got yesterday. So be prepared for that slight dip to test things. But also be ready for this to hold and send us higher. These squeeze tops are small. All we need is to find some buyers and energy to get us through. 414, very key. If we can get through that, pull back and hold it, it's mission 418. Let's see, Square. I swear, it's like at the beginning of the week, I was like, oh, Square could be ready for some love again, and right back down. So, Square, not a big interest to me, stuck between these key levels again. You know, wouldn't be surprised to see it run down to tag 78 before heading up to 85. Moving on, Tesla made it back to the 21. Has been holding the 744, slipped it a little bit yesterday for the squeeze bottom. Starting to reject it this morning. Need to get back above 744. Use it as support to push higher and get through the daily 21 on a mission to 780, 800. If we keep rejecting 744, we're going back to 718. We will slip through the squeeze bottom and tag 718 to find support. We pretty much called this bottom last week on Tesla. Our thesis last week was don't touch it under the 657. Once it gets back above and holds it, go long to 718. We got that perfectly last Thursday. Holding our key zone at 657, straight to 718, where it took a break, gapped above, used it as support. So, if we stay under 744 and can't get above it, once the bell rings, we are likely going to drop straight to 718 for a retest, where the daily 8 and daily 15 are now straddling. Expecting that to hold and give it buyers to step in to give us energy to get back through 744, the daily 21, and start trekking higher. 718 gives out, quickly down to 700. And finally, VIX. Not that VIX, this VIX. Woo. So, VIX, that previous low that sent us back higher was 25.5. Yesterday, as we opened, we said watch 25.5. It tagged 25.48 and then took off back to 27.5, where our key level sat, and a trend line from the highs. That's where VIX stopped and went right back down. So, pretty easy premise today. Again, we're below this daily 50 at this key level of 25.5. For us to have upside in the market, we have to get below 25.5 and dive down to 25, 24.5, and this daily squeeze bottom, which hits the key level at 23.33. If we have a dip in the market, that we will likely see VIX go up to test 26, where this daily 50 is. Would love to see a rejection there so that we can see continued upside and we can buy the dip that the market takes. But ultimately, if we're going to go down again, it's going to be like exactly the same as what we got yesterday, where we hold 25.5, take off through 26, and come back to test at 27. So let's see if the daily 50 can keep VIX down. Let's see if the trend line in 27 can keep VIX down if it starts to get up. And yeah, that pretty much covers prep for us. We'll jump back real quick to ES just to see if since 8:30 there's been much of a reaction. $8:30, quick dip, and then taken off. And VWAP slowly catching up. So let's see if VWAP and 4110 can hold us up. It looks like we are starting, still in a down trend from that pre-market high. So don't fight the trend. It might be put at open unless we get a decent bounce and use your beast tool. You could get a nice slit back to open to that burger bottom to load up. But that wraps up prep. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time hearing this, or if you want to pick up a copy of that beast tool, please check out our website. Right at the top is a link to come join our server for free so you can test things out. Good luck today, everybody. We'll see you in the chat room. We are on the mic all day long calling stuff out, answering our members' questions, helping them with their trades. So definitely come check us out. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck today. And remember, no beast, no feast.